Hey there. Okay, so this past week I've been talking with a number of physicians about the Savvy Doc in Real Estate Inner Circle, and there is one question that has come up quite a few times. I figured, what? How about you just do a live about it? And that has been on the question of paying off debt, because we all like a lot of us have a lot of student loan debts. Hey there, and it has been about should they pay off their student loan debts versus invest in real estate. And okay, so here's a disclaimer first of all. Okay, you guys know I've been doing real estate now for actually this is right about 4 years. And obviously, I think it's a better idea to invest in real estate. Just this year, I actually started thinking about it a little more. I kind of took a step back. I was like, okay, this whole debt question, like why are people so bothered about it? Second disclaimer is that I also run a physician coaching program for those who want to get started in real estate. So that is my perspective, okay? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, here are my thoughts. Actually, the third thing is if having any debt at all gives you sleepless nights, then please take care of that because your peace is way more important than any returns you make on any real estate investments, okay? So now with those three things out of the way, here are my thoughts on this, all right? Back in 2008, 2007 going into 2008, I applied to med school, all right? And as an international student at the time, I was not eligible for any funding. So I got into top schools, but then there was this clause there that said because I wasn't eligible for any financial aid, I'll pretty much be losing my admission, all right? But May 27, 2008, I checked online and found out that I had gotten my green card. And that triggered a series of events that eventually allowed me to qualify to get student loans, okay? That was one of the happiest days of 2008, definitely one that I still remember by the date. So understand that perspective. So in my experience, having the even access to financing, access to loans has been a testimony in my life, all right? So let's also put that on the table. So debt in itself can give you opportunities, not debt in itself, but access to funds can give you opportunities that you may not have had before. It can be used creatively. But here is where the problem lies. A borrower is slave to the lender, okay? That is scripture. That is the Bible right there. I did not write it. It is in the book, okay? So debt in itself may not necessarily be inherently bad, but the borrower is enslaved to the lender. So keep that in mind. So back to real estate, back to real estate. That question of whether to invest or put the money towards paying off debts kind of hinges on the fact that you even have any cash. When I got started in real estate, I didn't even have any, okay? So I didn't even have that question of should I invest versus should I, put the money towards, I didn't have any like free cash just hanging around wondering what to do with it. So that kind of framed my mindset that investing was a completely different conversation from the debt payment thing because we were able to do deals multiple times over. We were able to figure out ways to do deals multiple times over and effectively recycle the same stash of cash, if you may, for multiple deals, all right? So we never really had to take from the purse of paying off debt to use to invest. So whenever I hear that question, should I invest, should I wait until I pay off my debts or then and then invest? It's like a mind-boggling question for me because I'm like, the two don't have to exist, it doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be either or. There are ways to get both of them done. And I've written a whole thing about this on my Instagram page. But basically, it doesn't have to be either or. You can do them both together, okay? Recently, I bought into the philosophy of having an orchard, right? Orchard mentality, where you have seed, you plant the seed, and then you let the seed grow into a tree, and then plant multiple trees and have an orchard that's producing fruit. And then you can use the fruit from those trees to feed yourself, feed your family, feed God knows what, right? So in my mind right now, if I get cash, I'm thinking of it as seed. I'm thinking, okay, where can I put this thing so that it can generate me more seed, right? So I can plant and plant and plant and eventually have a tree, have an orchard of trees with seed that I can then multiply. Okay, so that's one philosophy. And then the second thing is that is now the one by I think it's Hans Johnson of the True Wealth Formula and Mike Michalowicz of Profit First, where they pretty much say, hey, you take any income that you get and allocate your funds to different things. So let's say you have, let's say you get $100, all right? So 10% goes to your tithe, 10% goes into your wealth account, 10% goes off to something else, but pretty much you have designated amounts that you can use to pay off debt. That way, debt is not running your life, but you have taken control of the situation and you are crushing debt like the enemy that it is, right? So, to summarize all of this, should you pay off all your debt first versus invest? I say, how about you do both? It doesn't have to be either or. There are ways to invest in real estate with barely any money down. So the two don't have to compete with each other, right? And there are ways to take a portion of cash that you get and recycle it multiple times over, freeing up your cash to do the other things like pay off debt, right? Anyway, just some thoughts that I had. I've gotten this question a lot this week. And I just thought, you know what, just do a live about it and talk about it and, let people hear about it. If you're a physician and you like to join our community, I just opened up the Savvy Doc Inner Circle. Hey there. I see someone who's on there too. Definitely come join us in the Savvy Doc Inner Circle. Tomorrow is our first session. And it is going to be a blast. All right, guys, let me not be on here too long. You don't have to wait until, okay, this is completely my opinion, all right? This is not financial advice. This is my opinion, but I've given you the basis of all of it. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless you. Have a good one. If you're a doctor, you need to be on that group, all right? Love you guys. Bye.